Welcome to Clash Corner, your daily dose of chaos.
I stopped working 6 months ago and no one noticed. I stopped working 6 months ago, and no one at my company has noticed. I worked remotely for a mid-sized tech company. When our manager left, the team fell apart. Everyone was doing random tasks, and no one was checking up on anything. One day I realized I could just stop working. So I did. I stopped logging in. No one noticed. My direct reports assumed I was working on back-end admin stuff. Human resources never followed up. I still got paid. It's been 6 months. I wake up, make coffee, play games, walk my dog, and nap. Payroll keeps depositing my check. I'm terrified to touch anything or alert them, but also weirdly proud of how long this has gone on. I know I'm essentially stealing. I know it will catch up to me eventually. But the freedom has been incredible. I think I might actually cry the day they finally notice I don't exist. What would you do in my position?
Ready for more? Here comes Clash number 2.
My friend used my wedding as her free honeymoon. I paid for my friend's plane ticket and hotel to come to my destination wedding. She took the free trip and didn't even show up to the ceremony. I recently got married to my husband in January. It was a destination wedding, but my parents and his parents paid for their own plane tickets and hotel. We paid for our friends' plane tickets and hotel stays. Each plane ticket was about $2,000, and the hotel was maybe about $150 to $300 for a week. My friend Gemma brought along her newlywed husband John, but she paid for his plane ticket herself. The problem is that Gemma and John did not show up to my wedding. Gemma took the free plane ticket in the hotel room, and when I asked her why she didn't show up, she said that since they couldn't afford their own honeymoon, this was a perfect opportunity. She also said that John decided he didn't feel like going. I was really hurt by this since Gemma and I have been friends for over 10 years. Would I be wrong if I took her to small claims court for the money I spent on the plane ticket and hotel? Would you take her to court, or would you just cut her off?
The chaos doesn't stop. Clash number 3.
My boyfriend's coworker is all over him and he acts like it's normal. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years, and last night I finally met his coworkers. Now I wish I hadn't. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years now, and he's been at his current job for a few years. We'll call him Jake. I'd never met any of his coworkers until last night, but there's one in particular we'll call Amy. He sometimes does favors for her, fixing her car, going to her house to fix stuff around her house, and so on. I was never really concerned because he told me all his coworkers are a lot older than him. However, one night while he was asleep, his guy friend kept blowing up his phone, so I answered to let him know Jake was sleeping, and so was I, so please stop calling. Anyways, before I put the phone down, I noticed 5 unread text notifications from Amy. I guess some of the spam notifications were from her. One of them said, "Great Jake, now everyone thinks we are together." This really concerned me, so the next day after Jake got home from work, I asked about it. He said that both he and Amy were late for work that morning, so everyone probably assumed that, and it was just a joke. I thought it was a weirdly unprofessional joke and expressed my discomfort. He invited me to the bar with him and his coworkers that night so I could meet her and see it was nothing to worry about. It did not soothe my nerves at all. Turns out Amy is not a lot older than him. She's only 3 years older and super pretty. The entire night she was all over him, touching him, leaning on him, putting her arms around him, and even kissed him on the cheek, and he acted like it was normal. They were constantly teasing each other in that middle schooler who doesn't know how to properly flirt yet kind of way. She told me all about how she loves him like a brother, and also told me she's been intimate with half of their other coworkers, and that she got the next morning off work because she sent a coworker inappropriate photos to get him to cover for her. Later on she started crying and sobbing at the bar, actual tears, because she's so lonely and wants someone to love her, and my boyfriend ended up having to comfort her. I am just unsure what to do or say. My boyfriend kept acting like this was normal, that he wasn't doing anything wrong by entertaining this behavior. I can't ask him to cut her off. They're on the same unit and they have to work together. I literally do not know what to do about this, but I'm just disgusted knowing this has been going on these years that he's worked with her. How can I set boundaries when they're forced to be around each other all the time at work? How would you handle this? Am I overreacting, or is this as inappropriate as it feels?
Another clash is on the way. Here's number 4.
I thought I was bad with spice for 29 years. I'm a 29-year-old guy from a Mexican family where if a food doesn't make you sweat, it's not a real meal. I've always been the odd one out. I'm a 29-year-old guy from a Mexican family where if a food doesn't make you sweat, it's not a real meal. I've always been the odd one out. My tolerance for spice is basically zero, and I've accepted my role as the family lightweight. My thing has always been salsa verde. Every single time I ate it, my lips would get a little puffy and tingly. It wasn't like scary swollen, but it was noticeable. I just thought, okay, cool, this is what a mild spice feels like for a wimp like me. It was my normal. I'd just take an allergy medication if it felt a bit more intense than usual and get on with my day. The big plot twist happened last Sunday at a family barbecue. We're all eating tacos, and I slather on the salsa verde. Within a few minutes, I feel the familiar puff-up starting. I nudged my sister and said, "Whoa, this green salsa has a real kick today. My lip is already getting fat." She looked at my mouth, then back at the salsa, and started laughing. "Dude, that's not a kick. Your lip is actually swelling. Mom didn't put any chilies in that. It's just the tomatillo and onion stuff." The whole table got quiet and just stared at my face. My mom's eyes got huge. She said, "That's not spice. You're allergic. You've been having a reaction this whole time and just calling it spicy?" It finally clicked. For 29 years, I thought my puffy lip was a sign of my weak constitution. Turns out, my body was just having a low-key allergic meltdown to a totally normal ingredient. I wasn't a wimp. I was just unknowingly dosing myself with an allergen and treating it with allergy medication. So yeah, I'm not bad with spice. I'm just allergic to the family's safe sauce. I've got an appointment to figure out what exactly hates me, but for now, the jokes at my expense are absolutely relentless. Have you ever mistaken something serious for something totally normal?
Chaos overload. Let's wrap up this final clash.
I helped save someone and was completely ignored. Today made me realize how invisible I am. I was walking down the stairs to the subway after work when I heard a thump behind me. I didn't think much of it at first, but when I got towards the bottom of the stairs, I heard a louder thump. I looked back and there was an elderly man struggling to get up, so he started rolling down the stairs. I instinctively rushed back up to help him. 2 other men came as well, one coming down, one coming up. We all picked him up, and he held on to me for support. He was bleeding a bit on his head, but otherwise he seemed fine, even joyful. I asked the 2 other men if they had tissues for his bleeding head, but I received no response. Both men then proceeded to ask other passers-by if they had tissues. A passerby gave a whole pack, and the man behind him cleaned him up. I asked the elderly man if he was hurt anywhere or if he needed an ambulance. I received no response. The man in front of the elderly man asked if he was hurt or needed an ambulance. The elderly man instantly replied, "No, thank you, everything's fine." He was still holding on to me for support. A passerby came to tell one of the men that there's still a non-emergency number he could call to ask for advice. I assumed he was talking to us all, so I replied, "That's a good idea, thank you." The passerby now looked at me confused and then told the other man that there's a non-emergency number he could call for advice. The other man thanked him for the idea. Now the 2 men were conversing over my head. They got the elderly man to sit down on the stairs, at which point he let go of me. They were all now talking about the fall and having a laugh. I laughed too, but no one looked at me even once. I felt awkward, so I started walking away. As soon as I took a step back, the man standing behind the elderly man stepped where I was, and I heard them continuing their conversation. I'm glad the elderly man is fine. I hope it was nothing but a small scratch on his head. But it still hurt. I don't think I deserved a thank you or anything, but I wish I weren't ignored like that. Would they have stopped and helped me if I was the injured one? I really don't know. Have you ever felt invisible like this?
That was today's chaos. See you at the next clash. Don't just watch the clash, join the corner. Subscribe now.